sin in a bill, no explosive drive. No sin in a bill, no explosive drive. No sin in them, no sin in them, no sin in them. No sin in a bill, no explosive drive. Consistent drive, urban daytime in the cool when the stereo jazz T. Day shit traffic, I cut through the middle lane. Phone on silent, I don't need another name. Billboards talk like they know what I become. I look past it, let the glare turn to none. Concrete under me, jazz dust in the air, not a solo. Just a color that's there, a horn in the distance. Barely a trace, like a thought you don't claim, but you keep in your place. I'm moving on purpose, not chasing the peak. No speeches, no clips, no look at me streak. I keep my hand steady on whatever I steer. If it shakes, I don't blame it, I just keep it near. I don't need your applause to confirm what I did. I don't need your advice when you don't know my grid. I'm built from small choices, repeated and quiet. The kind you don't notice until they start to riot. But I don't riot, I reroute it, put it back in the pocket where I store my doubt. Like spare change, I forgot I counted on now. Same city, new angle, listen on the best. My shadow stays honest, never trying to pass. I'm not better than anyone, I'm just more awake to the ways I pretend. And the cuts that I make, drums hit clean, no swing, straight spine. Kick like a heartbeat, snare like a line. Hi-hats flick like a turn signal, blink. Everything tight, everything, don't overthink. Then the jazz slips in, soft chord, then smoke. Not romance, not sadness, just a space I invoke. A piano voice and with a bruise in the tone makes the whole block feel less alone. I walk with it, I talk with it, not out loud, not dramatic, just enough to keep my head from getting static. Simple and sharp, no fireworks, no art still. Every bar got a corner that bends like streets that don't end with a map in tens. They say relax, I say I am, I just don't advertise the plan. I'm calm like a lock, not calm like a beach. Calm like a lesson you don't have to teach. I don't post my wins, I don't toast my sins. I don't beg for closeness, I just stand where the truth begins. Eyes on the day, eye to dream. I measure life by what I mean. If I say it, it sticks. If I don't, it stays clean. No big chorus, just a phrase that returns like a street light that never learns. Like, keep it moving in the back of my teeth. Like, don't get loud when I'm close to relief. Like, don't get loud when I'm close to relief. Like, don't get loud when I'm close to relief. Hey. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't get loud, don't get loud, don't get loud. My pace is a promise I made to myself, not to fall for the shine on somebody else. Not to confuse being seen with being safe. Not to confuse a smile with a taste. I've been in rooms where the vibe was a test. Everybody acting, nobody at rest. Jazz on the speakers, wine in the club, but the talk felt cheap, so I tightened up. Now prefer the raw, the plain, the day, a bench, a breeze, and unpaid out with a waste. A beat in my head that keeps time and square with a sax, no ghost that refuses to glare. You can call it balance, I call it control. Not the kind that cases, the kind that keeps the cracks from swallowing the whole. I'm not here to be flawless, I'm here to be exact. To know what I'm choosing and stand by that. I watch my tone like a lens, if it blurs I correct. I don't need a shout to make something connect. Don't get loud, don't get loud, don't get loud, don't get loud, don't get loud. When pressure rises, I lower with the mask, not the face, just the extra I cast. I drop the unnecessary, keep what's real, like stripping a sample down to the feel. Jazz is a hint, a half step, a shade, a brush symbol touch that doesn't invade. It doesn't take over, it doesn't insist. It's a quiet maybe that still persists. And the rap stays for clear diction, dry tongue, not sweet, not cruel, just the truth in one lung. I talk like I'm walking, no sprint, no pose. If you miss it, that's fine, it's not meant to be froze. I don't filter information, I don't pitch the light. I just show up daily and keep my grip tight. City keeps moving, I match the rate. I don't race it, I don't negotiate. I let the beat do what it's built to do. Hold the frame while I pass right through. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't get loud, don't get loud. No, 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 at night the same thought tries to ring. Is this enough? That his favorite thing. I don't answer with speeches, I answer with steps. I answer with showing up, handling reps. I'm not chasing peace, I'm building it slow, brick by brick with the things I don't show. A muted chord, a steady kick, a calm decision that finally sticks. If you want drama, you won't find it here. I don't paint flames just to make it appear. I keep it level, I keep it concise, like a record that plays and never begs twice. Day shift ends, street lights start, same spine, same heart. Hip hop first, jazz in the scene, real life lies to one feel the breathe. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't get on that. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't get loud. Keep it moving, moving. Think it and don't get loud. Don't get don't get loud.
And so yeah, yeah. I keep the line straight, no curve, no pause. And every step dances the one before it. The beat doesn't suggest options, it sets direction. Kick pulls forward, snare confirms location. I don't wander in this section, I measure distance. Every bar moves without asking permission. Bass repeats like a directive, not a mood. It tells the ground what to do. Straight lines, no detour. Straight lines, no detour. Yo, hi-hats click like signals, clear in space. They don't decorate time, they state it. I place my words exactly where the pocket opens. Not above, not behind. Precision does the talking, volume stays optional. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, jazz shows up briefly as a side note. A muted chord, a breath of color. It doesn't interrupt, it acknowledges, then steps back, satisfied. I don't chase variation early, I let it earn entry. Structure first, then permission. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, straight lines, no detour. Operates this way, daylight agreements, lanes, grids, distance, since all understood. I move inside that logic, no translation. Hip-hop speaks clearly when you listen correctly. I don't soften consonants, I sharpen intent. Every syllable lands with precision. Straight lines, no detour. If something bends later, it'll bend honestly. Not because I forced it, cause the root allowed it. The bass doesn't negotiate, it repeats. Consistency smooths, friction better than explanation. I step through blocks identical on purpose. Repetition builds trust in the process. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah. A phrase appears once, resets the pace, then disappears. Job done, I don't look for return paths. Forward is enough. Jazz shades the edge again, barely visible, just enough to remind. Structure can breathe, but not yet, not here. The drive stays central, yeah, I keep it that way. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, you know that. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, yeah. I've learned clarity arrives faster when you remove options. Decision narrows space and sharpens movement. The beat keeps pulling, unaware of my thoughts. That indifference keeps me honest. I don't narrate progress, I maintain it. Straight lines, no detour. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, 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 yeah. If this sounds strict, that's accuracy. Loose moments come later when the frame holds. I stay inside the grid, bar after bar, until direction becomes character. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, straight lines. Day moves forward, same logic, same pace. I move with it without turning. Straight lines, no detour. I move with it, turning. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, 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 yeah. Straight lines, no detour. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's the route I'm on.
And I did it all. Never my like and never leading. Never malika, never leading. Never malika, never malika. Never malika, never leading. Structure prioritizes sustained aha lyrical density. No cushionated pop advantage J style to echo the softening. No space set pacing, not to revise. Right in the pocket relentlessly. Overall feel is industrial daytime edgy. Hip hop dictates motion, nothing cushions the impact. No cushion in the kick. Yeah. Bay Street beats like a directive. Short range, close contact, it doesn't drift. Repetition isn't boredom, here it's reinforcement. Every return tightens the frame, makes the floor reliable. I don't stretch words, I place them inside the pocket where they work. No cushion in the kick. Hi-hats don't decorate time, they divide it. Clear markers, no interpretation. I keep diction sharp because softness delays intent. Every consonant matters when momentum is fixed. The city runs on this logic, daylight pressure. Signals don't explain, they instruct. I follow that language without translation. No cushion in the kick, yeah. No cushion in the kick, yeah. No cushion in the kick. No cushion in the kick. No cushion in the kick, yeah. Jazz barely shows a residue at best. A faint smear of tone that disappears immediately. It's not absence, it's hierarchy. Structure first, color later if needed. I've learned drive collapses when you pad it too early. Force can be McClure, direction disappears. No cushion in the kick. Jazz barely shows a residue at best. A faint smear of tone that disappears immediately. It's not absence, hierarchy. Structure first, color later if needed. I've learned drive collapses when you pad it too early. Force becomes blur, direction disappears. No cushion in the kick. A phrase cuts through once not to be remembered. To reset alignment, then it's gone. I don't circle it, I keep moving. The beat doesn't slow to check, it assumes continuation. That assumption sharpens me. No cushion in the kick. Bass and kick agree. Distance stays constant, that consistency removes doubt. I don't ask where this goes forward is enough. Every bar advances, no reflection, no recap, just distance. No cushion in the kick. If this feels hard, that's precision. Softness comes later when structure holds. I don't confuse relief with progress. One pauses, the other continues. No cushion in the kick. Drums stay dry, no reverb to hide behind. Impact is honest because it's exposed. I respect exposure, it reveals errors fast. I keep posture forward, eyes level, no scanning for exits. No cushion in the kick. The bass repeats again, same weight, same contact. It teaches patience through force. I've learned endurance is built here, not in comfort. A breath of tone appears briefly, then clears. It doesn't argue with the grid. No cushion in the kick. I don't decorate the section, I drive it. If something survives this pace, it's real. The beat keeps pulling, unaware of fatigue. That indifference keeps me aligned. No cushion in the kick. No cushion in the kick. I move bar to bar without easing pressure until motion itself feels stable. That's when character forms. No cushion in the kick. This isn't aggression, it's commitment. The kind that holds shape under repetition. No cushion in the kick. I stay with it until forward becomes default. No cushion in the kick. No cushion in the kick. No cushion in the kick.
No flex in the meter. Nah, no flex in the meter.
It stays exact, every step measured, every bar intact. The kick sets the law, nothing bends it. Snare draws the boundary, time respects it. I don't negotiate tempo, I accept it. Accuracy feels easier once you stop arguing. No flex in the meter. Bass repeats like instruction. Short range, full contact, no drift allowed. Repetition tightens intention, each return sharpens placement. If something slips, it shows immediately. No flex in the meter. Hi-hats divide the air, clean cuts, no blur, just information. I align syllables to that data. If they fall wrong, that's correction, not emotion. No flex in the meter. The city runs on measurement, signals, blocks, distances, nothing sentimental, everything agreed. I speak that language without translation. Hip-hop communicates my greeting. Jazz critics in behaviors. No flex in the meter. Jazz flickers at the margin. A chord flash, a breath, the tone and gone. It doesn't soften the grid, it confirms it by contrast. No flex in the meter. I don't chase feel, I chase placement. Feel shows up later when structure holds. Every bar advances, no pause, no recap, just distance gain. No flex in the meter. A phrase appears once, marks position and disappears, job finish. I don't loop it, I move on bass and kicks stay fused. No daylight between them, that closeness eliminates doubt. No flex in the meter. No flex in the meter. If this feels rigid, that's intention. Rigidity exposes error before it spreads. I adjust posture, not pace. No flex in the meter. 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 The beat doesn't tire, it maintains. Maintenance is discipline. Discipline is clarity. I stay clear. No flex in the meter. Jazz breathes again. Barely audible. A reminder that even still has edges, but it never leads. It never interrupts. Hierarchy remains. No flex in the meter. I move bar to bar until repetition stops sounding repetitive and starts sounding stable. That's when motion becomes character. No flex in the meter. No hook returns. No lesson underlined. Just forward agreement between sound and intent. I don't narrate progress. I keep it. No flex in the meter. Yeah. The day stays bright, route stay fixed, nothing curves yet. I stay inside the grid because it works. No flex in the meter. I keep going until exact feels natural. No flex in the meter, that's the pace I'm on. No flex in the meter. No flex in the meter. No flex in the meter.
Yeah. Yeah. The tempo holds and I don't push it anymore. Not because I'm tired or because it's enough. Every step I needed already happened. Every test I trusted already passed. The beat doesn't pull now, it supports. That difference matters. Nothing left to prove inside the tempo. Nothing left to prove inside the tempo. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. Kick stays firm, no extra weight. Snare confirms the line, no hesitation. I don't adjust placement, I stay where it works. Accuracy feels quiet once it's earned. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. Bass repeats without insistence. Same distance, same contact. Repetition turns into stability. I don't ask it to change, it already did its job. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. Hi-hats keep counting, not demanding attention. Just keep in order, that order feels complete. I align words to that count without force and emphasis. They land because the grid holds. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. I've been through pressure, held it, tested it, let it strip things down. What remains doesn't shake, that's how I know. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. Jazz appears once, barely noticeable. A tone at the edge like residue after work. It doesn't add meaning, it confirms finish. Hierarchy stays clear, hip-hop first, everything else after. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. Yeah, I don't chase release, I recognize closure. It shows up as the absence of urgency. No hook returns because it isn't needed. No phrase insists because it already fits. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. The
the city feels usable again. Not sharp, not heavy, just a line. Movement doesn't argue, it continues. I move like that without checking behind me. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. I don't collect lessons from this. They're embedded in how I stand, how I speak, how I move. Structure taught me enough, nothing left to prove in the tempo. Old drums don't fade, they remain, which feels right. Endings don't always disappear, sometimes they stabilize. I stay inside that. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. If something bends later it will, but not now. Right now the frame holds, the motion is honest. Nothing left to prove in the tempo. This section did its work without spectacle, without softness. Just clarity built through repetition. Yeah, nothing left to prove in the tempo. I don't raise my voice, I don't slow the beat, I don't signal completion. I just stop adjusting, nothing left to prove in the tempo. That's how this ends, not loud, not open, but solid. I'm correct.
Yeah. I put the weight on the one, let it hit first. Everything else follows, that's how order works. Kick lands heavy, no debate. Snare draws a line, confirms the state. I don't ease into motion, I commit. Momentum respects clarity more than drift. Pressure on the one, that's the rule. Bass doubles down, same spot, same force. Repetition turns intent into structure. I don't ask the beat where it's going, it already decided. I just stay inside it. Pressure on the one. Yeah. Pressure on the one. Yeah. Hi-hats click like measurements. No decoration, just enough data to stay accurate. Every bar moves forward, no scenic routes, no reflections, only distance. I keep my diction tight, edges clean. If a word lands late, it doesn't land. Pressure on the one. Yeah. Jazz stays peripheral, a chord flashes once then clears out. It knows the hierarchy. Color comes second after the frame holds. Anything earlier will blur the grid. I've learned impact comes from commitment, not excess. Pressure on the one. The city runs like this, daytime logic. Signals don't argue, they instruct. I follow that language, no translation. Hip-hop speaks plainly when you respect it. Bass repeats again, no variation. Consistency sharpens focus, better than surprise. Pressure on the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pressure on the one. The phrase cuts in once, short, direct, then disappears. It's not a hook, it's a checkpoint. I don't circle back, forward is enough. Jazz breathes briefly at the edge of the bar, just to remind rigidity can flex, but the spine stays straight, the beat stays firm. Yeah, yeah. Pressure on the one. Yeah, yeah. I don't chase lift, I chase alignment. When rhythm and intent agree, that's elevation. The drums don't react, they assert that confidence carries me bar to bar. Pressure on the one. I strip movement down until nothing distracts. What remains is usable, no drama, no pause, just drive. Pressure on the one. Yeah. If something bends later, it earns it. Not now, not yet, right now. Structure leads, pressure on the one. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I keep going until direction feels permanent, until motion turns into character. The beat doesn't slow, it expects continuation. I meet it there without hesitation. Pressure on the one. Yeah, that's how this section moves. Hip hop first, everything else after. Pressure on. Yeah, or pressure on the one. Yeah.
The hit already landed. I'm moving after that. No flinch, no reset, just continuation. The kick did its job, now everything follows. Clean lines, clear distance. I don't react to impact, I work from it. Once pressure is real, there's no confusion after the impact. The beat stays tight, no release valve, no soft landing, just ground that holds. Bass keeps repeating, same weight, same placement, it reinforces what's already true. I don't need proof again, the first hit confirmed it. After the impact, after the impact, after the impact. Hi-hats keep the grid visible, nothing fancy, just markers that prevent drift. I stay inside that, not because it traps me, because it's accurate. The city feels like this right after force. When things don't collapse, they align after the impact, after the impact. A muted chord slips in late, not early, not leading, just acknowledging space. Jazz waits until structure settles, then breathes once and steps back. That timing matters after the impact. After the impact. I don't soften delivery, I sharpen placement. Every word lands with a kick already decided. No negotiations and just agreement. After the impact, after the impact. A phrase appears once short, functional, then disappears. It's not memory, it's calibration. I don't return to it, I move forward, adjusted after the impact. Bass and kick stay fused, no daylight between them, that closeness removes doubt. I don't scan for alternatives, direction is already set after impact. The beat doesn't escalate, it maintains, that's harder and more useful after the impact. Jazz colors the edge briefly, a tone that rounds nothing, just reminds that hardness can coexist, but it never leads, it never interrupts. Hierarchy stays intact after the impact. I've learned real momentum shows up after force, not during it, that's where decisions settle. I keep my posture forward, not braced, just aligned after the impact. No hook circles back, no release arrives. Everything stays in motion because motion survives. I don't dramatize endurance, I practice it after the impact. Drums stay dry, unforgiving, which makes them honest. I respect honesty like that. The bass repeats again, no variation, no relief. Consistency is the relief after the impact. If something breaks later, it wasn't ready. This pace reveals weakness. Without comment, I stay here bar after bar until movement feels normal. After the impact, that's when texture can't exist. Not before, not instead. Hip-hop holds the spine, jazz traces the edge briefly. After the impact, I keep going, not because it's intense, because it works. After the impact, that's the state I'm in. Stable and moving. Stable and moving.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The grid holds before anything else does. It doesn't care how I feel, it keeps a shape. Yeah, yeah. Kick lands, everything lines up. Snare confirms, distance stays honest. I don't test the structure, I trust it because it keeps showing up exactly the same. Held by the grid. Yeah. Held by the grid. Yeah. Yeah. Bass repeats with purpose, no flourish, no apology. It understands the job, repetition isn't safe here. It's demanding, it asks if I can stay accurate again. I stay, yeah. Held by the grid. Yeah, yeah. Hi-hats cut time clean, no softness, no swing, just information. I place my words inside that information if they land wrong, and it's on me, so held by the grid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So held by the grid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The city moves like this, daylight agreements. Everyone inside lanes, they didn't design. I respect systems that don't need attention. They work whether you notice or not. Held by the grid. So held by the grid. Jazz shows up as residue, a tone left behind after pressure passed. It doesn't lead, a piano hits once then clear. Satisfied with the market left. Held by the grid. Held by the grid. Held by the grid. I don't lean on atmosphere, I let it arrive only after the spine proves it can hold. I've seen freedom fail without structure. It confuses motion with no's. Held by the grid. A phrase resets the pace one time, no return, just calibration. I don't circle it, I keep distance. The beat doesn't react, it maintains. That maintenance keeps me exact. Held by the grid. Bass and kick agree, same weight, same time, and that agreement removes doubt. I don't look for alternatives, forward is enough. Every bar advances, no recap, no reflection, just distance traveled. Held by the grid. Held by the grid. Held by the grid. If this feels strict, that's intention. Strictness reveals errors early before they spread. I adjust posture, not direction. Held by the grid, yeah. Jazz breathes again, briefly a smear of tone at the edge of the bar. It doesn't soften impact, it just acknowledges space. Hierarchy stays clear, held by the grid. I don't chase release, I maintain pressure. Pressure clarifies what belongs. The beat keeps pulling, unaware of fatigue. That indifference sharpens focus, just held by the grid. Focus. Held by the grid. Focus, focus. I move bar to bar until repetition stops feeling repetitive and starts feeling stable. That's where character forms. Held by the grid. No hook returns, no lesson lands. Just motion that proves itself. I don't narrate progress, I embody it. Held by the grid. Day stays bright, road stay open, nothing bends yet. I stay inside the frame because it works. Held by the grid. If texture appears later, it earned it. Not now, not yet, right now. Structurally, so held by the grid. I keep going until direction feels permanent. Held by the grid. Held by the grid. Yeah. Held by the grid. The receipt came late. Folded once, no signature line, which told me everything I needed. Nothing to confirm, nothing to contest. The numbers were there, and that was enough. I keep moving like that, accepting what arrives without demanding ceremony. The beat stays steady, no surprise entries, no exits announced. It keeps the lane open. I walk inside that lane without testing the edges. Drums feel practical, like tools laid out exactly where they belong. No extras, I don't add emphasis, I add attention. Bass repeats a short figure, not looping for comfort, looping for function. There's a difference, I respect function. It doesn't ask to be admired. The piano touches once, then leaves space like a note in the margin. You notice because it's correct, I don't react, I register. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Yeah, late receipt, no signature. Phrase passes through, I don't repeat it. Repetition would turn it into a claim. The city moves toward evening, not slower, just less crowded, which helps. I don't summarize the day, I let it settle. There's a comfort in documentation that doesn't require approval. It records without judgment. The beat keeps time indifferent to interpretation. That indifference keeps me honest. I keep my sentences compact, let the pocket extend them. If they need length, they'll earn it. Jazz stays structural, never its resident. It frames the space where decisions already happened. I don't lean on harmony, I let it support like a beam you trust without checking. Late receipt, no signature, no signature, no signature. Oh no.
return. Same distance, same weight, consistency smooths the path. I don't look back to confirm progress, the groove already did. I pass familiar corners, they don't ask questions, which feels appropriate. The drums don't negotiate, they repeat because it works. I move with that logic. A brief refrain appears once, just to mark the time, then it's gone. Late receipt, no signature, no signature, no signature. I don't chase the echo, I don't frame the moment, it already arrived intact. Some things don't need validation, they need continuation. The piano clears the lane again, satisfied with the shade it left. I keep pace, hip-hop stays direct, no ornament, just forward motion that doesn't stall. I've learned clarity often shows up after effort, not during it. This feels like that point. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Yeah, late receipt, no signature. The evening settles without instruction, the groove remains usable. If I leave now, nothing changes, which tells me I stayed correctly. The sound carries on, unaware of my timing. I step aside when it's time without interrupting anything. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. No signature. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Our signature, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Late receipt, no signature. Accurate and complete.
Not Bob with them, hey. Da da do do da 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 do da do 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 da do da do ba no bum we do ba no bum be da do ba no bum we do ba no bum be da da do da 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 ba do no ba da do ba do ba do ba do ba do ba do.
The kick lands clean, no space for reaction. Snare keeps time, not opinions. I don't wait for approval, I wait for alignment. If the bar fits, that's confirmation. No applause between bars, no applause between bars, no applause between bars, no applause. Bass repeats like routine, clockwork, distance, same pressure, same return. Repetition sharpens focus, it doesn't dull it, every cycle removes doubt until only accuracy stays. No applause between bars, no applause between bars. Hi-hat split the grid, clean cuts, no blur, just numbers. I place syllables where the count opens. If they fall late, they don't fall. I correct and continue. No applause between bars, no applause between bars, yeah. The city moves this way, midday efficiency. Signals don't cheer, they instruct. I speak that language by doing. Hip-hop doesn't announce, it advances. No applause between bars, no applause between bars, no applause between bars, no applause between bars. Jazz flickers once, a muted chord, a breath at the edge, then gone. It doesn't interrupt the spine, it confirms hierarchy, structure stays first. No applause between bars. I don't pause to evaluate progress, the distance already did. Every step adds up without comment. The beat doesn't glance back, it assumes participation. That assumption keep me exact. No applause between bars, no applause between bars. A phrase cuts and briefly not to be remembered, to reset position then disappears. It's not a hook, it's a checkpoint. I pass it and keep pace. No applause between bars. Bass and kick agree, no daylight, no negotiation. That agreement stabilizes motion. I don't look for release, I maintain pressure. Pressure clarifies intent. No applause between bars, no applause between bars, no applause between bars, no applause between bars. Yeah. If this feels strict, that's the choice. Strictness exposes error early before it spreads. I adjust posture, not speed. No applause between bars, Jazz breathes again, barely audible, a residue of tone at the seam. It never leads, it never argues. It stains the edge, then steps aside. No applause between bars. I move bar to bar, and the repetition stops sounding repetitive and starts sounding dependable. That's where endurance forms. No applause between bars. Yeah, I move bar to bar until repetition stops sounding repetitive and starts sounding dependable. That's where endurance forms. Yeah, no applause between bars. I move bar to bar until repetition stops sounding repetitive and starts sounding dependable. That's where endurance forms. No applause between bars. No chorus returns, no lesson lands, just distance covered without interruption. I don't narrate the work, I keep it moving, no applause between bars. Day stays bright, route stay open, nothing curves yet. I stay inside the grid because it works, no applause between bars. I keep going until effort feels ordinary, no applause between bars. That's the rhythm I trust. Yeah. Yeah. Baby, read along in truth, just enough room to step in. Table was already set, I took the seat that stayed open. Nothing ceremonial, no waiting for a signal. The sound was mid-conversation, I listened before adding read. Short entrance, stayed where they were, no one adjusted posture. The room didn't react, which made it easier. I blind spaces like this, prefer continuity over excitement. They hold better when you don't test them. The drums came in clean, no warning, no suggestion, just function. They told me everything, I matched the pace without thinking, not copying, just aligning, like they're finding rhythm on its own. Short entrance, long table. The piano leaned in once, then leaned back, not asking to be followed, just confirming it was there. Comment on details like that, I let them register. The body remembers better than the mouth. They stay alright, repeated without apology. It wasn't bored, it was certain. There's a difference, and I respect it. Short entrance, long table. Some blocks stretched out because there was space, others disappeared without resistance. I didn't save either, I let the room decide what belonged. The jazz stayed structural, not expressive, like a framework that knows it's lended. Hip-hop carried emotion, still poor, direct, unconcerned with decoration. Outranks performance. I don't explain my presence, I let consistency do The afternoon didn't announce itself, it just arrived. Lights settled into corners without changing the furniture. I kept the same pace, didn't check the time. If the day wanted attention, it would have asked. The beat stays steady like it knows the route. No shortcuts, no scenic detours. I follow that logic without thinking about it. Drums keep the street level, kick and snare agreeing on how far apart things should be. That agreement matters. I don't speed up for momentum, I let it build quietly, the kind that doesn't need witnesses. Piano touches the edges once, then leaves space satisfied with the effect. I don't react, I register. Bass repeats with intention. Short phrases, no excess. It knows repetition isn't boredom, it's commitment. I commit to that. Stay where the groove stays. The afternoon didn't announce itself. People move with purpose, or the appearance of it. I move with accuracy, which looks similar from a distance. I keep my words short, let the pocket extend them. If something needs more room, it'll find it. The city sounds functional, engine, step signals, all agreeing to keep things moving. I don't narrate progress, I let it occur. A phrase crosses my mind, I don't save it, I don't repeat it. I note how it feels passing through, that's usually enough. The beat doesn't check on me, it assumes participation. That assumption keeps me aligned. Jazz stays structural, never explicit. It holds the frame while movement continues. I don't lean into harmony, I let it support the day like architecture you trust without inspecting. The afternoon didn't announce itself, it stayed usable. I've learned usability outlasts excitement. It keeps showing up when novelty doesn't. I keep my posture neutral, not defensive, not open, just ready. Drums continue, unaware of preference. They keep time because that's the job. I respect work like that. Bass returns again, same shape, same distance. That consistency, smooth the ground. I don't adjust, I move with it. I don't adjust, I move with it. I know. Changing lanes when nothing requires it. I stay centered and let the blocks pass. The piano appears briefly, then clears the path. No insistence, just shade. I don't follow it, I acknowledge it. Hip-hop stays direct, no metaphors in the rhythm, just motion that doesn't ask permission. Yeah. The afternoon didn't announce itself, it didn't need to. Somewhere along the way, I stopped thinking about an arrival. That's when the pocket works best. No hook returns, no lesson forms. Everything continues without explanation. I don't check what I already told you. The groove already told me. If I leave now, the pace won't change, which means I stay correctly. The day carries on indifferent to my steps. I step aside when it's time without slowing anything down. Afternoon without announcements, that's how it moved. That's how I stayed accurate and ongoing.
I'll step into the pocket and let it carry me. No ceremony, no warm up. The beat knows where it's going, I just keep up without announcing it. The sidewalk sets the tempo, crosswalk clicks line up with my steps. I don't rush the green, I arrive when it opens. Drums feel closer now, not louder, just clearer, like the city decided to speak in full sentences. I stay inside the pocket, not pushing, not leaning. Forward motion doesn't need encouragement, it needs consistency. The chords sliding from the side, not claiming the center. They color the corners where decisions usually hide. I don't stop to admire the harmony, I let it work while I move. Jazz doesn't have to lead to be present. Bass stays short and short, repeats without apology. I respect that. Repetition is a form of discipline. I'm not here to stretch time, I'm here to use it to see how far accuracy travels when you don't decorate it. I keep my voice close to the beat, words land where the kick lands, not to dominate, to agree. There's a comfort in agreement between rhythm and intent when both want the same distance from attention. I pass familiar corners, they look different at this pace, not because they changed, because I did. Forward pocket, side chords, that's the alignment. I don't announce the phrase, it slips in and slips out like a note you hear only because it fits. The piano doesn't linger, it knows when to move aside. That restraint keeps the street open, keeps the path usable. I don't wait for permission to proceed, the grid is already there. Every block a decision already approved. Drums keep it honest, no swing to soften the truth. Just straight lines that let you measure yourself against them. I measure quietly, no scorekeeping, just checking posture and breath. I've learned momentum isn't speed, it's the absence of hesitation. The moment you stop negotiating with your own steps, the chords return briefly, tilt the head and step back, satisfied with the effect. Forward pocket, side chords, I don't repeat it, I recognize it. The city sounds like agreement engines, shoe signals, everything moving without commentary. I don't narrate my progress, I let the pocket do it. If I'm still in time, that's enough information. I keep my sentences compact, no extra turns, they move like traffic, predictable, reliable. Jazz keeps its distance, not shy, just aware of where it's most useful. It doesn't interrupt the grid, it softens the edges where rigidity tends to crack. I pass a storefront reflection, check alignment, nothing to fix, keep moving. Forward pocket, side chords, that's all it needs. No hop, no hook to return to, no lesson or underline, just a steady agreement between motion and sound. If something drifts, I let it, the pocket corrects more than attention ever could. The beat doesn't wait, it assumes participation. I meet it there without proving anything. I've stopped confusion, drive with force. This feels different, this feels usable. Chords fade to the side again, leaving the road clear, they'll be there if needed. They always are. Forward pocket, side chords late in the day, still accurate. I don't slow down for emphasis, I keep pace, emphasis arrives when it's earned. The city keeps moving, I stay with it, not chasing, not lagging, just aligned enough to continue without explanation.
I go. Yeah, I go.
I set the grid first, then decide what fits. No mood without structure, no color without bricks. The beat comes in clean, no hesitation. Kick tells the ground, snare states location. I don't drift in this section, I move with intent. Every bar counts distance, not sentiment. Bass locks down the route, repeats on purpose. Forward motion doesn't need novelty, it needs service. I'm not looking for texture yet, I'm building the floor. If it holds weight, then I'll add more. Grid first, color after. Grid first, color after.
Yeah, I've learned freedom shows up better once limits are clear, otherwise everything blurs and nothing stays near. Hi-hats mark time like coordinates, nothing fancy, just enough information to stay accurate. I place my words inside the pocket, not above it. Precision beats volume every time.
Grit first, color after. Grit first, color after.
Yeah. The piano hits once and steps back, a reminder, not a direction. Jazz waits its turn and knows where it belongs. Not in front, in the margins of the song. I don't lean on atmosphere, I earn it. If the rhythm is right, everything else learns it.
Grit first, color after. Grit first, color after.
Yeah. I've seen tracks collapse from too much decoration and confuse intention with presentation. I keep my delivery dry, clear diction. Every consonant placed with decision. The city moves like this, daylight logic. Signals, lanes, agreements, nothing symbolic. I match that language, no translation. Hip-hop speaks an action, not explanation. Grit first,
color after.
a grit first, color after.
Color after.
A horn breeze briefly from the side, not the solo, just to widen the ride. It doesn't interrupt, it confirms that even structure has room to bend, but not yet, not too much. The beat still leads, I trust that touch.
Grit first, color after. Grit first, color after.
I don't chase swing, I chase alignment. When everything lines up, that's excitement. The bass keeps repeating, same distance, same pressure. Consistency is the message. I step through the verse like crossing blocks, each one identical until they're not. That's when texture matters, that's when shade appears, but only because the grid was already here. Grid first, color after. Grid first, color after. I don't soften the rhythm to feel express it. Expression shows up when function is aggressive, not loud, accurate. I don't need a hook to prove momentum. If the pocket holds, that's the anthem. A phrase resets the pace once, then disappears. It's not a destination, it's a gear. Grid first, color after. I keep my posture forward, eyes level, no looking back, no seeking approval. Hip-hop stays central, unapologetic. Jazz stays peripheral, selective. They don't compete, they cooperate, but only after the structure is set.
Grit first, color after. Grit first, color after. Grit first, color after.
If this feels restrained, that's the choice. Restraint sharpens intent, gives weight to voice. I don't decorate the message, I deliver it. If something colors it later, I let it. The beat keeps moving, unaware of my timing. That's how I know I'm inside it. Grit first, color after. Day moves forward, same logic, same pace. Nothing dramatic, I stay with that bar after bar until accuracy becomes character. Grit first, color after. That's the method, that's the order. Everything else is optional.
chairs move first, scraping softly against the floor, like the rollers deciding what it didn't need anymore. People still without hurry, no one checked the time. The music didn't stop, it just shifted its weight. I'm stay where I was, not because I meant to, because the sound hadn't asked me to leave. The piano kept the chord open longer than expected. not dramatic, just unfinished. I listened to how that felt and didn't interrupt. The bass circled slowly, like it was checking the room, seeing what remained after the obvious left. I don't rush endings like this, they arrive better when uninvited. The drum stayed live, almost polite, repeating because it felt right, not because it had to. I thought it was saying something, then realized the moment was already speaking. I've learned that atmosphere often carries more truth than explanation. The room been down, but the sound didn't. It stayed after the chairs moved. I noticed that there's a distance between presence and population. This felt like the first I adjusted my posture without standing, stayed attentive without performing. The jazz leaned back, not withdrawing, just giving space. Shot on label moments like this, they don't ask for memory, they ask for accuracy. The bass took another pass, not repeating, just confirming. I don't follow music here, I comprehend it. It stayed after the chairs moved, that matter. Time stretched gently, not longer, just less crowded. I stopped anticipating what would come next, because nothing needed to. The drums didn't signal anything, they just remained consistent, which grounded the room. I've been practicing staying after transitions, that's where details surface. Yeah, I stayed after the chairs moved, I stayed too. I didn't document the feeling, I let it impress. After the chairs moved and didn't ask to be kept, I repeated the phrase once and again, not to remember it, to test its way. I stepped out quietly, not because it ended, because it didn't need me anymore. The room carried on without adjustment, and that felt right. And that felt right.
Nothing here asks for a chorus, so I didn't bring one. The room felt complete before I said anything, which made speaking optional. I stood near the edge of the sound, not outside it, just not centered. The piano moved first, not announcing itself, just shifting the air enough to be noticed. I waited because rushing would have broken the balance. Nothing here asked for a chorus, everything already had a place. The bass walked slowly, not forward, not back, just present. Each note felt like a suggestion, not a command. I listened longer than usual, not for meaning, for temperature. Some rooms are warm, others precise. This one was bold. I thought about timing, then let it go. Timing behaves better when it isn't wise. Nothing here asked for a chorus, and I understood why. The drums didn't insist, they repeated because they wanted to, not because they needed attention. I matched my words to that logic, said let's let space finish the sentence. I've learned that music doesn't always want a message, sometimes it just wants continuity. The horns arrived briefly, like someone checking in, then stepping back out. They didn't stay long, which made them matter more. I didn't react, I adjusted. Nothing here asked for a chorus, so I stayed inside the verse. Not because I planned it, because it felt accurate. I've been in places where repetition was required. This wasn't one of them. Here, variation mattered more than recall. I let one idea pass, then another didn't try to connect them. The piano bent a chord slightly, not to express, just to breathe. That breath changed the room more than any statement could. I noticed my shoulders drop without instruction. The bass circled back, not repeating, just reminding. I don't narrate moments like this, they resist explanation. Nothing here asked for a chorus, and I didn't miss it. The absence felt intentional, like leaving a chair empty so the room could stay open. I don't need every song to return somewhere, somewhere better when they continue outward. The drums stayed patient, almost indifferent, which gave me what to do the same. I don't chase resolution in spaces that don't suggest it. I let the sound exist as its own reason. Nothing here asked for a chorus, only attention. And even that, not urgently, I spoke when the instruments stepped back, then stopped when they returned. It felt like conversation without exchange. I've learned restraint from rooms like this, from places where sound doesn't compete, it cooperates. Nothing here asked for a chorus, so I didn't close anything. I left it open on purpose. If someone listens later, they're aware of what they hear. I don't need to frame it. The room keeps playing without me now, and that feels right. Nothing here asked for a chorus, only presence. So I stayed, then quietly moved on.
I didn't pack anything extra, left the room as it was. Nothing felt unfinished, nothing asked to come with me. down, stayed behind without complaint, which told me it had done its job. I don't carry moments like this forward. They lose accuracy when moved. They work best where they happen. The beat feels settled, not slow and not pushing, just complete. I walk with that feeling without explaining it. Drums keep time, one last stretch, not to conclude but to confirm. Everything that needed to happen already did. The piano rests into a chord, doesn't hold it long, doesn't rush away, it knows the balance. I don't look back to check alignment. If it was correct, it wouldn't need confirmation. Nothing needed to carry over. That's the point. Same distance, same weight like a floor you trust. I step across it without testing. There's relief in not needing continuation and letting a section stay intact without sequel. I don't summarize what this was, I don't label it closure, I just recognize the stability. Nothing needed to carry over. Even now it frames the end without decoration. Hip-hop keeps the body moving but gently, like the last blocks of the day. You don't rush through, I don't say phrases from this moment. They belong here, not later. The groove agrees, it doesn't insist on memory. Nothing needed to carry over. Slightly, not out of fatigue, out of completion. This isn't a stop, it's a placement. The drums don't fade dramatically, they remain usable, which feels right. I've learned endings don't need signals, they need accuracy. Nothing needed to carry over. Nothing needed to carry over. Something returns later, it'll return on its own terms, not because I forced it. For now, the structure holds without reinforcement. I step out of the sound quietly, not because it ended, because it didn't need me anymore. Nothing needed to carry over. That's how I know. Section closed without excess accuracy. Complete. There's a table by the window, corner chip like a little off. I always sit there facing sideways, so nothing feels head on. Music leaks from somewhere low, not loud enough to interrupt, just enough to keep me company while I let the minutes stack up. I don't rush the silence, I don't fill the gaps, I let the room decide how much of me comes back. Soft corners in the room, nothing sharp, nothing moves. Soft corners in the room, I stay where the sound is loose. The bass walks slow across the floor, like it knows I'm listening. Every note takes its time, no reason to be convincing. A voice nearby laughs once, then settles back down. Nobody's performing here, they just happen to be around. I watch steam fade from my cup, trace circles I don't complete. Some thoughts don't need conclusions, they're fine staying incomplete. Soft corners in the room, nothing sharp, nothing moves. Soft corners in the room, I stay where the sound is loose. When the space allows, not when it acts. Every sentence gets weighed before it's passed. I'm not hiding, I'm placed. There's a difference I learned. Being quiet is an absence, it's how pressure gets burned. The piano leans into blue, not sad, just aware. Like it's been here long enough to stop trying to care. I nod without reason, just following the tone. Some nights don't need meaning, they just wanna be known. They just wanna be known. Soft corners in the room, nothing sharp, nothing moves. Soft corners in the room, I stay where the sound is loose. Time doesn't push me here, sort of drifts. Every moment arrives, then politely lives. I don't chase the downbeat, I let it come around. Like a thought you don't force, but somehow it's found. Oh, there's comfort in unfinished lines and phrases that don't land. They hang in the air like an open hand. Soft corners in the room, nothing sharp, nothing moves. Soft corners in the room, I stay where the sound is loose. When I leave, the room won't notice. That's part of the deal. Nothing clings, nothing claims. Everything stays real. I step back into the street, sound still right in my chest. Not louder, not brighter, just settled at rest. Soft corners in the room, I carry them too. Every edge gets rounded by the things I don't do. Soft corners in the room, nothing sharp, nothing moves. Soft corners in the room, that's where I choose.
Was already playing, I just stepped into it. I didn't wait for a cue, didn't need one. Everything felt mid-motion, like I arrived late in a good way. Chairs angled or nothing specific, lights settling where it wants. A piano holding space without asking for attention. The room was already playing. I didn't add much. I noticed how sound behaves when no one's directing it. Notes don't compete, they cooperate. Someone stirred a cup nearby, metal against porcelain, perfectly off time, which somehow fit. I don't rush environments like this. They collapse when hurried. I stay still long enough for them to keep going. The bass walk without destination, just enough movement to remind the floor why it exists. I thought about speaking, then decide against it. Some spaces sound better uninterrupted. The room was already playing. I let it. I've been in places where silence felt staged. This wasn't that. This was active, but unconcerned. Every sound knew its role without being assigned one. I adjust my breathing, not to match the rhythm, just to not disturb it. There's a kind of respect in not trying to contribute immediately. I sit with the weight of things, untranslated, unlabeled. The piano bends a chord slightly, not sad, not hopeful, just aware that tone does something to the back of my thoughts, rounds them off. I speak quietly in my head to see if the room reacts. It doesn't, which tells me everything's fine. The room was already playing. I didn't need to join. Time stretches differently here, not slower, just wider. Moments don't stack, they spread. I stopped checking how long I've been here. That's usually the sign. The jazz isn't performing, it's existing, which makes it easier to stay. I've learned that comfort isn't softness, it's consistency. Nothing dramatic happens, and that's the point. The room was already playing. I trusted that. When I finally speak, it's almost accidental. A line slips out, then blends back in. No one turns their head, which feels right. Some thoughts only work when they're released without expectation. The bass turns a corner, returns, never announces it. I follow that logic in my own way. Say less, stay longer. The room was already playing. I didn't interrupt. If I leave, it won't notice, and that's part of the appeal. Nothing here depends on me, which lets me be precise. I don't archive this feeling, I don't summarize it. I let it remain as it was. The room was already playing. Before I arrived, it'll keep going after I step out. That continuity stays with me, not loudly, not clearly. Accurately.
I do da do da do bo ba ba bo 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 ba do da do da do bo ba ba bo bo bo. A bother do da do da do bom 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 bom. A bother do da do bom 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 bom. I took the window seat without choosing it. It was just there. The view didn't promise anything, which made it easier to keep. Same tempo as the street below. Cars agreeing on distance. No one trying to pass, no one slowing things down. The beat holds steady like it expects participation, not applause. I sit with that, let the motion handle the rest. I don't lean into the glass, I don't need to see. More peripheral is enough when alignment is clear. Bass stays close to the kick, short steps, no detours. It knows where it fits. I match that certainty without borrowing it. The piano colors the edges, never the center, like a thought you keep but don't announce. I don't chase variation, I let it arrive if it does. Window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat. buses once not to be remembered, just to mark the moment, then it moves on. I don't repeat it, repetition would distort it. The city below feels measured, not slow, not fast, just agreed upon. Drums don't explain themselves, they don't need it, they keep time. That's the job, I keep my words compact, let the pocket finish them. There's a comfort in being carried by something that doesn't react. It keeps you honest, I don't adjust posture, I settle into it. Window seat, same tempo. Window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat, same tempo. The piano steps in again briefly, then clears the lane, satisfied with the shade it left. I don't follow the harmony, I acknowledge it, then keep pace. Hip-hop stays direct, no extra turns, just forward motion that doesn't ask permission. I've learned momentum works best when it's quiet, when it doesn't advertise. I don't narrate the ride, I watch it happen. The refrain passes once more, but doesn't insist. It's not a destination, just a checkpoint. Window seat, window seat, same tempo. I notice how time widens when nothing interrupts it. Minutes don't stack, they stretch. I stop checking progress because the pocket doesn't. The bass repeats, unconcerned with novelty. That consistency keeps the floor level. I trust that the beat doesn't look back, it assumes continuation. I meet it there without proving anything. Jazz stays structural, never is wasting. It keeps the room intact while movement continues. I don't dramatize the view, I let it slide by. Window seat, same tempo. Somewhere between blocks I stop thinking about direction. That's usually when it's right. No hook circles back, no conclusion forms, just steady agreement between sound and motion. If I leave this seat later, the tempo won't change, which tells me I stayed correctly. The groove carries on indifferent to my time, and I step out when it's time without altering the pace. Window seat, window seat, same tempo. Somewhere between blocks, I stop thinking about direction. That's usually when it's right. No hook circles back, no conclusion forms, just steady agreement between sound and motion. If I leave this seat later, the tempo won't change, which tells me I stay correctly. The groove carries on indifferent to my time, and I step out when it's time without altering the pace. Window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat, window seat, same tempo. Same tempo.
I said it once, then I said it again. Not because it changed, but because I did. Some thoughts need revisiting, not revision. Just another look from a slightly different distance. The day didn't shift much, but my tolerance did. Same noise, same movement, less reaction. I've been practicing restraint in small increments, seeing how little needs adjusting for things to settle. Almost the same sentence, just placed differently. Almost the same sentence heard from another seat. I don't repeat myself to convince, I repeat to confirm that it still fits. Where I'm standing, the beat stay consistent, like it's aware of the experiment. Nothing flashy, just enough structure to notice variations. Almost the same sentence, but slower this time. Almost the same sentence with less need to land. I've noticed emphasis changes meaning, even when the words don't, so I move them around. See what stays intact, some phrases feel heavier at the start of the day, others only work after things wear down. I don't correct myself immediately, I let the echo finish. Sometimes the echo clarifies, sometimes it dissolves. Almost the same sentence, I don't rush it. Almost the same sentence, I let it sit. The jazz comes low underneath, not expressive, just present like a margin note you don't read out loud. I keep my voice level to hear the difference between intention and habit. Almost the same sentence, but shorter now. Almost the same sentence without the extra sound. Without expecting change, just checking alignment between thought and action. I'm lessons arrested in outcomes, more curious about consistency, about what remains accurate after repetition. Almost the same sentence said without urgency, almost the same sentence left incomplete. I don't aim for memorability, I aim for precision. If something stays, it does so quietly. The city keeps looping, so do I, but each pass reveals a new angle. Almost the same sentence, I hear it again. Almost the same sentence still holds. I stop trying to improve everything. Some things don't need improvement, they need confirmation. I watch how the words sit in the space. If they feel balanced, I leave them alone. Almost the same sentence, this time trims. Almost the same sentence, less explanation. I don't fear redundancy when it's intentional. Repetition exposes flaws and reinforces truths. The beat doesn't react, it just stays, which gives me room to move around it. Almost the same sentence, I trust it. Almost the same sentence, I don't decorate it. There's clarity in small shifts and swapping one word for another and noticing the effect. I don't announce these changes, they're internal. They're for calibration, not display. Almost the same sentence, said once more. Almost the same, still accurate. If this sounds familiar, that's the point. Not everything new is necessary. Sometimes staying awake means revisiting what already made sense. Almost the same sentence, that's enough. Almost the same sentence, I move on. No emphasis, no conclusion, just alignment. Oh, 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 almost the same sentence. I keep it because it keeps me. Almost the same sentence. It's because it with me.
The signal drops a little, but I still hear myself. Static doesn't scare me, I've been here before. Same route, different pressure, same thoughts, no shade. I don't rush the message, I adjust the way. I check my tone before I speak, not to soften it, just to make sure it belongs to me. Low signal, still clear. I don't need perfect reception, to understand what's mine. Some things come through broken, still readable in time. People talk louder when I'm sure I move the other way. Volume doesn't add meaning, it just fills the day. Low signal, still clear. Instinct travel doesn't ask for trust, it just repeats itself because it must. I match it without thinking, like breath to a chest. No drama, imbalance, just stay infrared. Those signals still clear. I learn to read between moments, not lines. Pauses tell more truth than punchlines. There's a difference between missing information and knowing enough to keep going. Low signal still clear. I don't panic at distortion, I let it pass. Every message improves when you don't grab fast. Some nights the city feels muted, like it's wrapped in cloth. Edges rounded off, nothing sharp enough to cut. Low signal still clear. I walk through it steady, no rush, no stall. If I lose a detail, I don't lose it all. I trust the parts that remain when noise gets stripped. What stays consistent usually stays. Low signal still clear. I've been misunderstood before, survived defined. Clarity doesn't reply, everyone in line. I speak once, then wait, see what returns. Echoes tell you more than what you learned. Low signal still clear. If a look comes back, it's not asking to stay, it's just checking in to see if I'm okay. Low signal still clear. I don't stack explanations, I let one say. If it holds, that's it. No crying, that's weight, no final reveal. Just a steady connection that refuses to feel. Signal still clear. I've stopped apologizing for being concise. Short messages travel further when they're precise. Low signal still clear. Even when the lights flicker and the screen goes dim, I don't lose direction, I just adjust within. Low signal still clear. That's the phrase I keep when everything shakes. Not louder, just accurate. Low signal still clear. I move forward with it, no need to amplify. If it's real, it survives. Low signal still clear. Still clear.
Yeah. I left the page blank on purpose, didn't feel like drawing a line. Some things get smaller once you
give them a sign. I've been here long enough to know how meaning behaves. The harder you underline, the quicker it fades. So I talk without markers, no arrows, no frame, just sentences moving without asking for names. Morning didn't announce itself, it just showed up slow. Light slid across the floor like it had nowhere to go. I watched it for a while, didn't think much. Sometimes attention is already enough. I don't label my progress, I don't measure the pace. I just notice the distance between thought and face. Some days I speak clearly, some days I stall. Both feel honest, I don't rank them at all. No marker on the page, still something's written. No marker on the page, but I know where I've been. The beat doesn't tell me when to arrive, it just keeps time, so I know I'm alive. Kick stays steady, snare stays dry. Nothing dramatic, nothing tries. I move with it, not ahead, not behind. Like a thought that repeats but refuses to shine. People look busy like that's a skill. I slow my steps down just to see what's real. There's discipline in noticing what doesn't insist. The quiet decisions that never get kissed. No marker on the page, still something's written. No marker on the page, still something's written. No marker on the page, but I know where I've been. I don't finish ideas fast, I let them brew. See which ones stay after I remove the excuse. Some thoughts need pressure, others need air. I don't foresee that, I just keep them there. There's a comfort in drafts that never gets sent. They carry less ego, less need to be meant. I'm not building a thesis, I'm tracking a state, seeing how long I can tolerate. Wait, no marker on a page, still something's written. No marker on the page, but I know where I've been. The same, but my posture shifts. Tiny corrections that nobody prints. I don't talk about change, I adjust. That's usually enough when you're dealing with trust. I stop chasing conclusions, they rush things away. I prefer the middle where thoughts like to stay. No start, no end, just a steady tone. Like a street you walk without checking the zone. No marker on the page, still something's written. No marker on the page, but I know where I've been. If you ask what this means, I won't answer clean. Not because I'm hiding, but because I'm between knowing and saying, between calm and alert, between letting it pass and deciding it hurts. I don't dramatize tension, I let it hum like electricity before it becomes the jazz. Sits quiet behind the spine, I lead in the thought, just bend in a line. I hear it, but I don't follow it, just colors the day like light through a window. You didn't plan to stay. No marker on the page, still something's written. No marker on the page, but I know where I've been. This isn't a statement, it's a condition. Staying awake without a mission. Not lost, not found, not clean, not loud. Just aware enough to keep going without spelling it out. No marker on the page, that's the choice I made. Let it stay open, let it fade. No marker on the page, still something's written. I don't point it out, but I live in it. But I live in it. But I live in it. I checked the room one more time. Nothing felt out of place, not because everything was perfect, because nothing resisted. I didn't need to rearrange anything. The day had already settled. into a shape I could stand in. Some thoughts stayed, others didn't. I didn't chase either. I've learned that alignment feels quiet. It doesn't announce itself, it just stops asking questions. The beat stays where it's been, like it understands that moving now would be unnecessary. I'm matching naturally, not adjusting, not correcting. Nothing more to adjust. That's how it feels. Nothing more to adjust. No loose ends. I didn't rush to confirm it. I let a few moments pass, see if doubt returned. It didn't. Not because it was resolved, because it wasn't needed. Nothing more to adjust. I leave it there. I used to mistake stillness for indecision. I don't anymore. There's clarity that comes from repetition and then stops repeating because it's complete. The jazz hums faint, almost absent, which feels right. It doesn't need to decorate what already holds. Nothing more to adjust, no emphasis, no expansion. I don't summarize the experience, I let it remain intact. Some things lose accuracy when you explain them twice. I'm not holding on to insight, I'm holding on to position. Where I stand doesn't shift. Nothing more to adjust, that's the signal. The city continues, unaware of my conclusion, which confirms it. I don't need validation from movement, from noise, from reaction. Nothing more to adjust, I stop there. If something returns later, I'll meet it then. For now, the structure holds no excess, no shortage, just enough space to remain awake without tension. Nothing more to adjust, I don't add, I don't remove. I stay with what remains. It isn't dramatic, it isn't memorable, it's accurate, that's sufficient. Nothing more to adjust. I let the sound carry on without following it. The day ends without instruction. I stay aware, then allow rest. Nothing more to adjust. That's where I leave it. Nothing more to adjust. The morning didn't ask me anything, it just kept moving, so I moved with it. Same pace as yesterday, same hesitation, nothing urgent enough to correct. I've been paying attention to what doesn't interrupt me, that usually tells the truth first. People talk about momentum like it's something you chase. I experience it more like something you allow. I don't accelerate thoughts anymore, I let them warm up. Cold ideas tend to crack. The beat stays neutral, doesn't suggest direction, which helps. I can walk straight without checking where I'm headed, because I recognize the ground. I notice how often clarity arrives late, after reaction, after explanation, after it's already unnecessary. So I wait longer now, not out of patience, out of preference. There's a stretch of time where nothing needs labeling. I stay there. Only in the middle, that's where it holds. Only in the middle, that's enough. I don't stay with the phrase, I don't build around it. I let it pass once, then keep going, because some things lose accuracy when you repeat them too much. Only in the middle, I hear it. Only in the middle. then it's gone. The city resumes its shape, noise returns, edges sharpen slightly. I don't resist it, I just don't center it. I've learned that pauses work best when the temporary, permanent silence feels staged. I move back into sentences that don't circle anything, they just move forward. The jazz hum fades back where it belongs, not absent, just not asking. I don't replay the middle, I trust it happened. There's a tendency to cling to what felt clear. I've been practicing letting it dissolve. Clarity isn't fragile, it doesn't need protection. The beat keeps going like it never noticed the pause, which feels right. I return to the same tone, same volume, same restraint. Not because it's safe, because it's accurate. I don't summarize the moment, I don't archive it, I let it stay unmarked. If it matters later, it'll surface again. Only in the middle, that's where it paused. Only in the middle, then it moved on. I don't follow it, I don't chase the after image. Some thoughts are only useful at the exact time they appear. Extending them changes their meaning. I prefer short alignment over long explanations. So I keep walking, same speed, same distance between steps. Nothing dramatic, return, nothing missing. Just a sense that I noticed something and didn't interfere. Only in the middle, that was enough. The rest doesn't need framing, I stay awake like that. Not searching, not finishing, just aware and moving forward. I said a lot today without raising my voice. Most of it passed without comment, which felt appropriate. I don't underline my thoughts anymore. I let them sit in their original way. If they matter, they'll hold. I've noticed urgency distorts things, makes details compete for attention. I'd rather let them line up naturally and see which ones stay visible. Some sentences don't need emphasis, they just need to exist once and be left alone. I walk slower than my surroundings, not out of resistance, just preference. Speed hides things I'm still studying. There's a habit of over-explaining that I've been unlearning. If something feels correct, I don't chase agreement. Same streets, different tolerance. I'm more selective with reactions now. I don't respond to everything. Some moments lose power when they're acknowledged. There's a difference between being precise and being sharp. I aim for the first. The beat stays steady like it knows interruption isn't required. I let it do what it does without commentary. A phrase crosses my mind, I don't repeat it, I don't test it on anyone. I just note how long it stays. Some ideas are fully formed, others show up fragile. I don't favor either, I just keep listening. I stop looking for signs, they're often late or misread. Instead, I pay attention to consistency, to what repeats without asking to. There's comfort in continuity and showing up the same way, even when nothing's watching. If I sound distant, it's not disinterest, it's calibration. I don't want my words to carry more weight than I can support. Some sentences don't need emphasis, they just need space. I've learned restraint isn't absence, it's alignment. It's knowing when not to add, even when you could. The city keeps suggesting urgency, I keep declining. Not everything benefits from momentum. I notice how often people interrupt themselves to seem certain. I let my pauses speak instead. There's a version of clarity that arrives quietly and leaves no impression except accuracy. I don't correct misunderstandings immediately. Sometimes they resolve themselves, sometimes they don't. Both outcomes are informative. I stop rehearsing conversations. They sound better unrehearsed, more flexible, less defensive. The jazz sits underneath, not as buzzers, just present like a reminder that structure can breathe. I don't reach for drama, it resists me anyway. If something matters, it doesn't need volume, it needs consistency. I keep my tone even not to disappear, but to remain legible. Some sentences don't need emphasis, they just need to be said once and trusted. I don't close thoughts tightly anymore. I leave room for revision, for context I haven't encountered yet. Certainty ages poorly, I've seen that. I prefer statements that allow adjustment, that don't collapse when pressure arrives. The beat continues indifferent to my conclusions, which is useful. It reminds me that not everything is about resolution. Some things are about duration. I stay awake without insisting on insight. I observe without extracting meaning immediately. If something becomes clear later, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's also fine. I don't force perspective, I let it develop. Some sentences don't need emphasis, they already know what they are. I move forward like that, not loud, not blurred, just intact. I don't need to highlight the point if I've already aligned with it. That's enough structure for now. I'm still awake when the block goes quiet. Street light humming like it knows my name. No one's calling, no one waiting, just my steps counting time and place. I don't say much, I note things down. Every thought gets trimmed before it's out. I learned early how to stay inside, keep the volume low, keep the edges round. Same room, same chair, same view. Nothing new, but I still look twice. I don't chase sleep, I let it pass. Eyes open, jaw relaxed, I stay awake. Not loud, not loud. I stay awake, never loud, not loud.
Hey, coffee cold, but I sip it slow. Morning's close, but I don't rush. Every move feels measured like I'm checking my own trust. I hear the city breathe through walls, vents, pipes, echoes in the hall. Everybody's dreaming big, I'm just watching it all. I don't need a sign to move, I don't need a crowd to prove. If I'm here, that's enough. If I pause, that's the truth. I stay away. Not loud, not loud.
I stay away, never loud, not loud. I stay away, never loud, not loud.
Thoughts line up like parked cars, none of them in a hurry. I don't fix what doesn't break, I don't force what's blurry. Been here long enough to know silence is an empty space. It's where I hear myself without having to explain. I don't say I'm tired, I don't say I'm fine. I just let the seconds do what they like. Window crack, cold air and keeps me sharp, keeps me still. Every plan stays flexible, every doubt gets built. I stay away, not loud, not loud. I stay away,
halfway. If it doesn't show up, I'll still be awake. Hey, hey, hey. Same step, same tone, nothing flashy to say. I don't sleep through the noise, I just don't amplify. I stay away, not loud, not loud. I stay away, never loud, not loud. Life flicker once the whole, like they're testing my eyes. I pass the test every time by not reacting at all. No climax, no fall, just a line that stays straight. Still awake, still here, still never loud. I didn't start with a point today, just walked until something stayed. Same streets, different light. Nothing wrong, nothing great. The air felt unfinished, like a sentence cut short. I kept my hands in my pockets, didn't look for a chord. People pass like ideas, some useful, some not. I let most of them go, kept the ones that forgot. I don't wake up inspired, I wake up aware. There's a gap between wanting and being prepared. So I stand in it, let it stretch, let it talk back slow. I've learned answers come easier when you don't rush the no. Coffee barely warm, still enough to hold. I don't need it sharp, I just need it close. My thoughts don't shout, they lean, they wait their turn, like they've seen enough endings to stop trying to burn. Halfway to quiet, I'm not there yet. Halfway to quiet, still catching my breath. I don't announce my doubts, I let them sit. If they stay long enough, I admit. Some nights feel useful, some just pass. I don't label the difference, I let it last. I stop correcting the mirror, it never asks. Stop chasing reactions that fade too fast. There's discipline and restraint, no one claps for that. But it keeps things aligned when the map goes flat. Halfway to quiet, I'm not there yet. Halfway to quiet, still catching my breath. The beat stays level, no dips, no spikes. Like a heart that learned to avoid extremes. I match it, not because I have to, because balance feels earned. There's a phrase that repeats in the back of my jaw. Not wisdom, not warning, just a personal law. Don't rush the silence, don't fill the space. Let the moment decide how much of your face. Halfway to quiet, I'm not there yet. Halfway to quiet, still catching my breath. Just knowing I showed up with the same density, same weight in my steps, same tone in my speech. If something reaches me, it doesn't have to preach. I leave things unfinished on purpose, so I remember them later. Some thoughts only work when they're allowed to be greater. Halfway to quiet, I stay right here. Not lost, not found, just clear. That's enough for now. I didn't separate the thoughts, I let them overlap. Figured if they mattered, they'd find their place. Some came incomplete, others showed up partial. I didn't force order, I don't trust it when it arrives too clean. The day moved forward without asking me anything, which I appreciated. I noticed how often I pause now, not out of doubt, out of selection. Not every thought deserves continuation. Some are just checking in, seeing if I'm still available. I didn't separate the thoughts because they weren't asking to be. The beat stays exactly where it is, like a floor that doesn't respond. It lets me walk without adjusting. I match it naturally, not because it guides me, but because it doesn't. There's comfort in something that refuses to react. I caught myself mid-sentence, then decided not to finish it. Nothing collapsed, which felt informative. I've been learning that clarity doesn't always arrive as a statement. Sometimes it shows up as the absence of correction. I didn't separate the thoughts, I let them breathe together. Some contradicted each other, I didn't resolve it. I let them coexist like weather patterns that don't collide. I'm less interested in being understood, more focused on being accurate, even if accuracy feels incomplete. The jazz sits far back, not tuzzy, not decorative, just enough to suggest that structure can bend. I hear it, but I don't follow it. It reminds me that not everything needs direction. Some things just need permission. I didn't separate the thoughts because I wasn't finished with them. There's a habit of categorizing experience that I've been loosening. Labels speed things up, I don't need that right now. I prefer the middle state between intention and action, where nothing is fixed but everything is possible. I notice my breathing and stop paying attention to it. That's usually a good sign. The city passed by uninterested in my process, which made it easier. I didn't separate the thoughts, they weren't interrupting each other. Some returned quietly, others faded. Both outcomes felt fair. I don't archive ideas anymore, I revisit them, see how they behave after time. I've learned time is a filter, more reliable than reaction. The beat keeps going, unconcerned with progress, which gives me room to stop performing it. I didn't separate the thoughts, I stayed inside them. There's a kind of honesty that comes from not editing in real time, from letting sentences end where they naturally do. I stop trimming pauses, they carry information. Sometimes the pause is the most accurate part. I didn't separate the thoughts because separation implies conclusion. I'm not concluding anything tonight, I'm just staying awake long enough to notice what remains when nothing is organized. The jazz hums faint, almost forgettable, which makes it useful. It doesn't insist, it doesn't resolve, it just exists alongside. I didn't separate the thoughts and nothing fell apart. If anything, things felt closer to scale. I didn't separate the thoughts, I let them sit as they were. Not finished, not clean, not loud, just present. That felt sufficient, so I stayed there and didn't ask for more.
For clarity right away, took its time, moved around the edges, stayed out of reach. I kept walking anyway, not because I trusted the process, but because stopping would have made it heavier. unfolded without direction, which made it easier to accept. Nothing was asking for definition. I notice how often I try to conclude things out of habit, out necessity. Some moments don't want closure, they want the raising. I let the hours stack without checking the total, without asking what it added up to. The beats stay consistent, like a surface that doesn't ripple, even when something else is through. I matched it naturally, but I was sinking on purpose. There were fragments of thought that came and went. I didn't collect them. I've learned collecting changes the weight of things. The jazz sat far back, almost indistinguishable, which felt appropriate. It didn't got the mood, it colored the stage. I moved through conversations internally without finishing sentences. No one needed to hear them. I stopped trying to locate meaning early. I let it drift. See you where if we further land. Slow down, neither did I. We just didn't interact. I stayed alert without looking for insight. Time passed uneventfully, which felt real. Then somewhere near the end, not dramatic, something alive. It settled near the end, that's where it stayed. It settled near the end without needing to stay. I didn't repeat it at first, I wanted to make sure it wasn't just relief, but it stand on near the end and settle near the end. No emphasis, no expansion. The beat didn't change, which confirmed it. I didn't need to trace it back to understand it. It settled near the end, and I trusted that timing. I don't rush understanding anymore. I let it earn its place. If it shows up late, usually knows why. It settled near the end. That was the point. Everything before it was preparation, whether I knew it or not. It settled near the end and stayed quiet. I didn't feel the need to carry it forward loudly. It could remain where it arrived. It settled near the end, and that was enough. Not a conclusion, not a summary, just a position I could stand in. It settled near day closed without ceremony. I stayed awake long enough to notice, then let it rest. I didn't feel clarity